What's up, everyone? Welcome into Dodger Heads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel. I am joined by Daniel Starkin, and we have some breaking news for the Dodgers on Tuesday night. Finally some action. I joked that Robbie Grossman signed, and I was like, here it comes, the avalanche of free agent signings. Well, news breaks on Tuesday night that Blake Treinen is returning to the Los Angeles Dodgers on a 2-year contract worth $17.5 million. It also features a option for the team, a team option for year 3 worth $8 million or a $1.5 million buyout. So the minimum is 2 years and about $19 million, if I'm doing my math right. It could be worth as much as 3 years, $25.5 million. I bring my friend Daniel on because Daniel is the guy that's been pining for the Blake Treinen signing. This was the guy he wanted more than Brad Hand, more than some of the other options out there. So, Daniel, your reaction when you saw the news that Blake Treinen was coming back to LA for at least 2 seasons?
Yeah, I was happy. I mean, first of all, how often do you see a signing just get broken by the team announcing it? Like no reporters had it beforehand. Wow. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, I was really happy the Dodgers bringing back Blake Treinen. I talked on this show pretty much all offseason about how I had him above basically every reliever not named Liam Hendriks. So yeah, I think it's a very team-friendly deal as well. It's, about $8.5 million, $9 million a year or so for 2 years. So not super long term. And then there's a club option for a third year at another $8 million. So if they like what they see in the first 2 years, they can bring him back for a third year. We talked on last night's show about the closer position. I don't know if this really changes that. I said that exactly last night. I don't know if Treinen's going to be the closer, but we know he's a high leverage guy, and you could bring him in whenever, and he's going to give you quality innings. Obviously, he didn't have a perfect season with the Dodgers last year by any means, but I feel like every time they needed him in the postseason, he came up big, and he pitched 3 days in a row whenever they needed it. So I like this signing a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think I'm a Blake Treinen guy. I'm pro Blake Treinen. He was great in the postseason, as you pointed out. He ate up a lot of innings, and so I like bringing Treinen back. You say team-friendly deal. If I'm being honest, that was the one part that surprised me was the price tag. It felt high to me. Now, here's why I say that. So 2 years, 17.5. Again, with the buyout, it's 2 years, $19 million. So you're committing to at least $19 million over 2 years. He is 32, so Hendriks is 31, so you're kind of in the same range, but you get a shorter deal. But I guess I just come back to, and you like him better than Brad Hand, but Brad Hand could have been had by anybody for 1 year and $10 million. I mean, even 1 year and 10 is better than 2 years for 19, no matter who you're talking about, in my estimation, lower. So that's the part that is interesting to me. I guess I just didn't expect him to be worth $9.5 million a year for 2 years. It's not so much. I like Treinen the player. I'm glad that he's back, and if dollars, who cares? But I guess I'm surprised at the dollar number. Were you surprised? I mean, I just felt like the relief market might have been a little more depressed than this.
Yeah, I mean, there haven't been too many relievers that have signed yet, so we don't know if the Dodgers, overpaid or underpaid compared to what the other guys are going to get. Let me just correct you real quick that the 17.5 would include the 1.5 buyout. So it's really 2 years, 16 million, and then the buyout would bring it up to 17.5.
Big difference.
Not that changes.
No, but
that
it's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's a little difference. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that was pretty fair. $8-9 million a year. Like, ideally, it would have been maybe $7 million a year. But at that point, what are you doing here? It's $1 million or $2 million bucks. But it's just a reliable reliever. It's not my money. I'm not going to sit here and pine over money. I get what you're saying. I thought it would be a little lower, but at the end of the day, I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm reading the tea leaves here, my guess is there had been some rumors of the Dodgers expressing very serious interest in Liam Hendriks. I just wonder if the Dodgers basically kicked the tires and realized that he's going to get a 4-year deal, or maybe he's going to get 3 years at 10, 11, 12 million. And I mean, do you agree? I can't imagine they go out and sign a bigger relief pitcher contract than the one they just signed, right?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I tweeted was after the signing was like, this probably rules the Dodgers out for Liam Hendriks. We don't usually see them give out this type of contract to a reliever, to one, let alone two in the same offseason. So I'm not expecting any more. But our good friend John Heyman is still out there tweeting that the Dodgers have interest in Brad Hand and Liam Hendriks. So I don't know. I'm taking that for what it's worth. It's John Heyman. Who knows? But hey, maybe the Dodgers aren't done yet, and that would be really cool if they could, if they still brought in a Brad Hand. That would be a pretty incredible bullpen.
Yeah, and I mean, and this is the last piece we'll talk about before we go, but it does the argument for them going out and getting someone is that Andrew Friedman made a point of saying we want to be different in the bullpen, we want to have variations, and yet Treinen, most people thought if you thought he was going to be gone, it was like, well, they have a bunch of two-seamers, why would they bring back Treinen? Well, they bring him back, so maybe the argument is, well, that's because they're going to go get Brad Hand, or they're going to go get Liam Hendriks, who has a different pitch, and so that's the other question mark for me was, you say, hey, we want to look different, we want to have variations, and then you go bring back the exact same guy. It's just interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know if it'll necessarily be Brad Hand, but I still think there's one more move to be made in the bullpen. They could use another lefty. Other than Victor Gonzalez, they don't really have any truly reliable lefties. Kolarek and Scott Alexander, they are what they are. But I think there's one more move to be made. I don't know. Maybe that's bringing back Jake McGee, who was really good for them last year. You could probably get him for cheap. So I still think there's another move to be made. I'm not going to get my hopes up that it's Liam Hendriks or Brad Hand, but hey, that would be pretty cool if that ended up happening.
I'll throw one last question at you. Throwing money like this, I mean, does this impact? I mean, DJ LeMahieu, they were talking about, hey, we're going to go spend $20 million on DJ LeMahieu. There was issues. Oh, they're going to be over the cap if they do that, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, now you throw $8 or $9 million at a reliever. Like, do you think this impacts the pursuit of a guy like LeMahieu or the pursuit of a guy like Turner?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on if they plan on going over the luxury tax or not. Like we talked last night, they were about 20 million below, I think, according to that Jorge Castillo article. So now they're 11, 12 million below. So that would, in theory, they'd still be in on Justin Turner and could still stay under. That would probably take him out of DJ LeMahieu, but I don't know what their plans are. I'm not going to sit here and say they're definitely staying under or they're definitely going over. We're just going to have to wait and see. I hope they go over because I feel like there's still a couple moves to be made that, you know, could really improve the club.
Yeah, well, there you go. Let us know what you think below. Blake Treinen returns to the Dodgers on a 2-year deal with a team option for a 3rd year, $8 million a year. Let us know what you think. Do you like the dollar number? Do you like the amount of years? Do you like bringing Treinen back? Be sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so that when breaking news like this does come, you are the first to know. We appreciate you watching us. As always, enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you soon.